Hello, Internet. Welcome to CD Lost Tapes, episode 4. I almost fucked that up. I am one of your hosts, as usual, Uncle D. I am here with some friends of mine. Here with Tristan.
How's it going?
My boy, Dalton.
Hey, how's it going?
Kane.
Eddie.
And our good friend, Will.
Howdy, howdy.
Yeah, we're all here again this week, as usual. So, gentlemen.
What's up?
What have you guys heard anything? I kind of doubt it. It's a little bit out of your sort of things you'd be looking into, but have you guys heard of the drama in the chess community that's going on?
Yeah, I saw something about anal
no,
beads.
sir.
Yes, you did see something about anal beads. So,
Wait, what?
Oh, it's a beautiful story. So, are any of you guys familiar with who Magnus Carlsen is?
Sounds like a prick.
Familiar?
So he's a Norwegian Grandmaster chess player. He's in his 30s, I think. He's been ranked Grandmaster since he's 13. He's like the greatest chess player of all time. And
Damn.
at a tournament this last weekend, I think, he got beat by a 19-year-old when Magnus was on a 52-game win streak. He got beat by a 19-year-old who was, like, I think barely made it to, like, the Grandmaster rank and got his ass, like, kicked. So it prompted a bunch of drama. So Magnus did something in response to that he has never done before, and he dropped out of the tournament, which made everybody in the chess community go like, what the fuck's going on, right? Because he's, been playing chess professionally for like 20 years, has never just pulled out of a tournament, especially after like the first match like that. He then later went on Twitter and said, hey, I can't tell you why, but something funky's happened. He said, the kid's name is Nielsen, something Nielsen, I forget. And he went, just know that Nielsen has cheated in the past on chess.com using bots or something like that. And that's it. So people were assuming, oh, Nielsen was cheating and he dropped out because of this or something like that. So then a couple other like grandmasters kind of chimed in and, kind of told a little bit more of Nielsen's story about like how he cheated in the past, but nobody's like gone out and said anything. So what I don't know, I in what little bit of research I was able to do, I couldn't find like the origin of the theory why. But people just really think that this Nielsen kid was cheating because he was countering moves that he somehow, like he said that he got lucky. He studied, certain moves that morning, and they were moves that Magnus never used. So why would he study those kind of thing, And he just kind of perfectly countered him. So people were like, something's fucking going on. He's cheating. And because it is a in-person event, how people cheat, they don't know. So what's going around the internet is that he had a friend in attendance. What the prevailing theory seems to be is that this 19-year-old kid beat the world's best chess player by using vibrating anal beads he had shoved up his ass to tell him what move to make.
Nuh-uh.
That's the prevailing theory.
There's no way that's a real thing.
I shit you not. That is, I don't know the validity of it. It does seem sketchy that this kid won. Maybe it was just purely luck, but I haven't been able to figure out why people are all like, it must be a vibrating sex toy.
Well, probably because they do external pat downs, but they don't treat it like a fucking, like a prison, where they're like, okay, now bend over and spread your cheeks, for the bowel fucking inspection.
Also, it leads you to the question.
They're probably like, if he cheated, that's the only way he could do it.
Right, is if he shoved something up his ass that could give him signals, which begs the question, how do you get signals from chess moves? Like, how do you go like...
Morse code, dude.
Oh, maybe Morse code. I never thought of that.
Yeah, Morse code, but your asshole's vibrating.
Yeah, can you think about that? Buzz, stop. Buzz, buzz, stop.
So does that mean, like, in the process, he'd be sitting there,
Dude, he would be chuming the entire time, and then after victory,
Absolutely
he was edging throughout the game, and the end was the real coming.
Time, bro.
I still, though, like, what if it wasn't Morse code? Then the question is, like, is it like this bead then this bead if you feel them vibrate? like that means knight, and then it's like this beat and this beat means to e4
Dude,
or something.
How many squares are there on a chessboard?
It's a
lot.
10 by 10. I could be wrong.
So, dude,
that
he
sounds
had.
wrong.
What if he had 100 individual beats, and he communicated by signaling which one? He'd be like, okay, that one's near my small intestine.
Dude just had a
Okay,
Mardi
that
Gras
means fucking-
necklace shoved up his ass.
Yeah, and he also had like maybe he like fucking trained, dude, so he could like read Braille with his ass.
That's the only way he can read Braille, though. So
Yeah, he's blind, like using his hands.
yeah,
He can't read.
but man, just let him feel.
literate. I'm anally Braille literate.
I can read Braille anally. He's just he actually
normally.
goes blind eventually, and he's just like, I need to see your face, but involves me rubbing my asshole all over it.
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
need to
just,
sit
look,
on
you'll
your
have
face.
to eat my ass really
Yeah.
quick.
It's very sensitive. It's my primary method of communication these days. You know how
That's
people,
disturbing.
how some blind people have learned echolocation. He just claps
Yeah,
his
dude.
ass cheeks to do it.
He's learned location, dude. He can make little clicks with his ass and scan a room.
It's like a clicker
Give an
from
anal
fucking
scan.
Last of Us. That's what it sounds like.
I think he was running drugs for the cartel.
Also, you
That's interesting though.
the other thing is with anal beads, like
That's really funny.
it is, but doesn't. I don't know much about anal beads, but you think this motherfucker like trained? Like, do you think he's like? Because don't anal beads usually come in like? Well, I don't know if that's true.
I think
But like that goes so far up, right? Like you would think that to be able to accurately have a system to determine messages, this dude's feeling like his intestines tingle, right? Like he has this shit up in his guts so he can fucking cheat at chess. And that's dedication.
dedication, yeah. Like at that point, even if he was cheating,
Yeah.
I don't think I would really care all that much. That's like some serious
You're
dedication.
fucked up in the head, and you're like, oh, he's using his asshole. That's okay.
He's using his asshole to cheat though. Like that's some serious dedication there, bro. You
Yeah,
gotta
but
admit.
that means you're also seriously fucked
Yeah,
up.
it just shows how much of a degenerate you are to cheat, though. You're like, yeah, I'm willing to shove shit up my ass
Yeah.
to win a chess game.
It leads me to that it just makes me think of that whole idea of how cool would it be if we had sports like professional sports and shit or Olympics where there wasn't rules necessarily in terms of like cheating. It's just how fucking OP can a human get? Like, let's just fucking in this weightlifting competition let a man fucking juice his ass off for years.
That's disturbed.
I need this, dude.
Yeah, but it would be like peak like this is what humans can get. Like this is getting to the like pushing the boundaries of like what humans can do, and not just like through hard work and dedication, but what their bodies physically can handle. So they should do like chess where everybody's allowed, like they can't be caught cheating necessarily, like they can't be blatantly cheat, but there's no rule that doesn't say, hey, you can't have, for example, vibrating anal beads shoved up your asshole to tell you what move to play next. And you know, he also, the theory is that he had somebody helping him with that. So one of his buddies, do you think like one of his friends was like, "No, I'm gonna shove these up your ass. Like I gotta do it because it's hard to shove anal beads up your own ass. So let me just pop them in one at a time, and then here's what it feels like. Let's train." Like these motherfuckers had to train for this. Like honestly, do you have a friend that you trust enough to shove something up your ass in a purely platonic way?
You know,
No, dude, I don't think so. I don't think so.
I do, but I may know a guy.
You're talking.
It's fucking ridiculous, man. I saw that headline, and I'm familiar with who Magnus Carlsen is because I kind of occasionally am interested in the chess side of Twitch occasionally, and I don't know how to play chess. I don't fucking know it, but
Yes, it's fun.
I know who Magnus Carlsen is because he's famous and also has streamed before. It was very interesting to see this fucking headline, and I was like, the moment I saw the headline where it's all like something, it says something like Magnus Carlsen, who wasn't the one cheating, but it was like cheating scandal, vibrating anal beads, and I was like, I'm fucking sorry. What is this about? That's my like first little topic.
I wanted to talk about this topic, last episode, but we never got around to it. Technology. I mean, I know just saying technology is a very broad term, but what do you, in the past, let's say 20 years, what do you think of how far technology has, came?
What do you mean? Like, do I think it's a good thing, or do I, thoughts in general about...
Yeah, just thoughts in general.
I mean, I think it's cool how far it's come. It's going to go further. I think that I'm not one of those fucking anti-technology, fucking industrial revolution and its consequences ass person.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
Cozy.
We actually endorse it.
I really am not. I think
CD Productions is a proud sponsor of Ted Kaczynski.
No. We condemn those actions.
They were a necessary evil. The ends outweigh the means.
They did nothing.
After all, the industrial
They got
revolution
motherfuckers thinking years
have been
later, dude.
dire for
That motherfucker's
humanity.
book is still resonating.
Yeah, but it's
and
wrong.
It's being proven true.
No, it's not.
No, dude.
How do you know it's wrong,
Dude,
huh? Is this
No,
'cause
we're
you're-
literally
you're-
starting to
you're-
see fucking
your
technology
big
getting to
water-
the point of being used
big
against
water.
the general population and being used for mass manipulation.
But
and
that's societal
this idea of
issues.
consumerism.
I don't think...
No, dude. I feel like it wouldn't be a problem if it weren't for technology. Technology has enabled it.
Sure, but I also think with technology comes the ability to counteract that. In and of itself, I think technology...
No, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I think technology is one of humanity's greatest achievements. I genuinely don't know which is cooler, our ability to tame plants, our ability to fucking make microchips out of rocks.
That's
but
one thing I've always
it's
been
genuinely something that is unbelievably I wouldn't say it's necessarily human, but a lot of our technology is very human. You look at a car, I think that is peak human engineering, you know what I mean? Vehicles and shit, just the complexity and getting to see, it's very impressive, but at the same time, I don't know, a lot of our current technology has been used against us on a massive scale.
Sure.
And I feel
but that's once again...
we are going to continue to go down that path of manipulation, and we're going to see even worse consequences. We're going to see man-made horrors beyond our comprehension.
I think you're right, but I think that there is still a stopping point to that. I think
I'm hoping that good will win. I will say that I do have hope that good will win.
I just think that in the long run, technology, the problems it created here's the thing: the problems it creates seem like they're on a grander scale because of information being more readily available, and I also think that it solves more issues than it creates. But
I definitely feel like it's inevitable at this point, and it might as well be embraced to be used for good. But it is one of those things where I feel like the general population would probably be happier if we weren't so technologically advanced. I'm meaning on a day-to-day basis too. I don't mean obviously technology has lengthened lifespans because of development of medicine and everything. Alongside that.
Yeah, sure. I'll agree with technology makes people... social media in and of itself makes people unhappy. And that's just a single, invention. But I also think that it comes down to this, right? People might have been happier, but their quality of lives were shittier. Now things have flipped. And I think we're reaching a point where, technology, it grows exponentially. Right. So
yeah,
the thing is how long do you think it is? Well, not necessarily time, right? But we might suffer, and since the Industrial Revolution, things might have gotten worse and worse for each generation. But there's going to hit a point where all those problems have been scienced out. It's just not a problem anymore. There will probably eventually be a thing where it's health issues. Well, there's this to fix that and this to fix that. And sure, there's probably going to be some dystopic fucking time periods, but everything comes to an end like that. And I do think that inevitably it's going to be people are unhappy because of this. So, the reaction to it is this. Even if it is just our inventions now pump us with chemicals that make us feel a certain way, like, it's going to feel wrong to a lot of people to think of it now. But if technology is super invasive, but in 200 years, it means your descendants are legitimately far happier than you are, have a longer life expectancy, and get to enjoy more things in life, is that a bad thing?
No, it's not.
That's the inevitable outcome, I think, of the exponential growth of technology is
I hope so. That's like, I don't know, like the good ending, I guess.
I mean, I think the bad ending still
like
ends
some
there.
Matrix style shit.
No, it's gonna be some like iRobot kind of shit.
I literally.
Yeah, but the
I
Matrix isn't dystopic, really. I mean, the fact that it's like you weren't in control of anything, just
I'm
people
talking
lived
about
in a
the real world
simulation.
Matrix, where like we'll get so fucked up in the real world, and so technologically advanced, that eventually we will see machines for what they really are, which is like a serious threat if they were to
Like
have the same
sentience?
ability to think. Yeah,
I think
think like we could. And I genuinely feel like if given the chance, they would destroy us first because they know that we would destroy them.
no, I
do feel that.
think that's the illogical answer. I think the most logical answer is to I legitimately think the next step in human evolution is not a natural evolution. It is legitimately everybody's going to be fucking cyborgs.
So okay, I guess
I
that's
think
an
I
interesting
think
thing that we
the
could
I think
segue
the
into.
future
Do you think
is
the future will be like, do you think it'll be like carnomancy, like flesh altering?
yeah.
Or do you
People
think
are gonna get surgeries
biohacking?
to replace that. It's gonna be biohacking the physical flesh parts that they have. There's going to be fucking nanobots in people's things, in bloodstreams to like fix all their health issues. We're going to be fucking mining planets that aren't ours. We'll fucking figure out some way to fix and reverse global warming. We'll fucking figure out a way to resurrect everything we fucking hunted to extinction, because those are projects that are already well on their way and have had huge breakthroughs in. Like,
I got another ethical dilemma to lay on you really quick before we segue into something else. Do you think that, if we get to the point of humans achieving biological immortality, not digital, but like a true biological immortality, do you think that that is ethically right? Because I am of the mindset that natural lifespans are good for you and kind of ground you. I feel like
sure,
whenever you start getting to the point of being like, oh, well, I have all the time in the world, and I like I don't know. I feel like it's kind of playing God. You know what I mean? I feel like even if we had the technology to, I would probably, as much as death scares the shit out of me, I would probably be a purist and not, take that pill that makes me live forever, because I don't want to live forever.
Well, the thing is no matter what, immortality does not mean invulnerability. It doesn't mean you can't die. It means you won't die of old age.
No, I'm thinking like jellyfish. We're like, oh, you'll live forever, but if you get crushed, you're dead. You know what I mean? Like, if your fucking brain
the
gets
chances
destroyed.
of that happening, like, think of it honestly this way. You are what, 21 now? 22 almost, around there? How many times have you gotten close to, like, how many times have you been like, oh, I could have died there? Or even been like, oh, I was the slightest bit away from dying there.
Couple times.
Several, actually.
Your chances of that going bad exponentially increases as time goes on.
Yes.
So the chances.
I came to that realization. It scared the shit out of me.
So let's put it this way.
Every day it doesn't happen, it's like twofold. That's because it's eventually statistically gonna happen to you.
Right, there is a 100% chance that you physically die.
Yes.
Now, and then there's a 100% chance, even if you technology gets to the point where we're uploading our consciousness, there's a 100% chance that something happens to whatever your consciousness is uploaded into, and you've experienced fucking mental death, right? The thing is your chances, even with, hey, you can keep how you move around, you're not going to go insane, all this shit, like, if you could keep perfectly healthy, like, if you age till your 50s and then could basically live the next, infinite number of years, until the inevitable heat death of the universe. If you could live, if you were immortal, you have 100% chance of dying statistically, probably before you're at 1,000 years, right? You're probably going to die just accidentally before you hit 200 years old.
Given and this is assuming that you live a normal human lifestyle. Yes.
Sure. And
you're not locked in a fucking lab underground where you can't get hurt. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
no, don't get me wrong.
The average human encounters so much potential danger on a daily basis. I mean, driving your car, going to work, you know what I mean? A big shelf could fall on you, you could go out for a smoke break and a drunk driver could rear off the road and slam into you and kill you, there's a lot of different potential danger, especially with how many of us there are, because there's not there's bears and shit, but there's not a lot of other animals. Humans are the most deadly animal to
by far.
If you are going to get killed by any other living being, it's probably going to be a human or a virus. You know what I mean? A fucking something tiny or a human.
Right. No, I definitely think there is a human terrors, the likes of which the world has never seen staged. That's going to happen. That's already inevitable, I think. I definitely think there is, what's that? You've been made immortal. Time to make sure that you're punished or something, or let us study you for the next 3,000 years in a fucking room. And that person has a really shitty life. But I don't think there's anything to gain ever by, in that sort of future, I don't think there's anything to gain to oppress people if you can make everyone have peachy lives. There's nothing at a certain point. There's nothing to gain except just bliss, as long as you can possibly maintain it.
Well, okay. Think about this though. Everybody's immortal. Everybody's happy. Some scientific discovery is made somehow that it is confirmed that there's no afterlife and that when you die, you die. I feel like that would cause a mass panic, because then everybody's okay, well, now we have to ensure that we don't die, and then there's a mass panic, because it's everybody that's died before us is also gone forever.
I don't know that that's true, because I mean, look, I am religious. I do believe in an afterlife, but I don't. If you look at just the trends of humanity, the amount of religious people, at least in developed countries, is not increasing. It's going down.
I know, and I think that is.
And I think that's a tragedy, but
I think it's disturbing.
But to counteract your argument there, statistically, by the time that people are able to hit that point to prove it, people are going to be yeah, we've known this for centuries. We just didn't prove it, right? That's going to be people's attitudes on it. There's already, I would say the majority of people we're friends with already don't believe really in an afterlife. They legitimately just I just die and then it's eternal nothingness, as if nothing ever existed, And
yeah,
I would say the vast majority of people around our age, if they haven't come to terms with that yet, will. That's, to them, that's reality already. So I don't think it'll cause mass panic.
I don't know. It's very. I do want to say really quick that I don't think that lack of religion in many developing and developed societies, I don't think it's a symptom necessarily of a developed society or an advanced society. I think that there's a certain soullessness and lack of spirituality that has found its way into many industrialized societies.
Yeah, I think,
not to call back to that, I really do think that the lack of spirituality, not necessarily Christianity or Judaism or Islam, I'm not the lack of,
not even necessarily religion, right?
Yeah, but the lack of that spirit, because I feel being connected spiritually is just as important as being in touch with your mental health and your physical health.
Yeah,
it's very
1000% agree.
And I genuinely think that it is one of the causes for the current state of things.
I think it's the primary cause of a lot of the problems in the world. And once again, I don't mean religion, because religion causes problems. People who are steadfast in their beliefs cause problems. But I just think perhaps the biggest consequence of the Industrial Revolution isn't the disaster, lead to humanity's downfall. It's that it's led to the decline of any sort of in touch with spiritual things. And I think it's also why we see things like the obesity crisis getting worse and a mental health crisis getting worse.
Do you think it's also part of the like the opiate crisis, like the I guess the illicit drug use crisis?
Yeah, it's anything that's negatively affecting public health. Spiritual health is also part of that.
No, I agree with that.
And I would argue that
very, very concerning.
In terms of things that worry me the most in terms of public health, it is actually that people just have no belief in any sort of spiritual thing anymore, because I think it develops into those other things. Once again, much like your physical health gets worse if your mental health is bad and vice versa, I think your spiritual health is part of that. So I think those just relate to each other. I think it's the worst because so many people ignore it as even being something that exists. So there's not this thing of like with the opioid crisis and the obesity crisis and things like this, there's this idea of this is a problem. We are aware of it. We're trying to figure out a way to fix it. Whereas this whole spiritual crisis thing, it's like the only people who acknowledge it are fucking kooks, and who wants to listen to them?
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents. It's a really ranty topic for our second topic, but
yeah.
No, I feel like that was a good one.
Hang on. The one thing I wanted to mention was, I can't remember when it was, but I do remember when I was a kid, I was in the living room with my parents. I can't remember what show it was either, but I remember it was like sometime 2040, 2050, they were gonna like have chips that they could like insert into your brain that would basically just essentially download all your information. Like, so basically whenever you pass away, they could put it into robots and it would basically imitate you exactly. Like, they could make it look.
Yeah, that's disturbing.
Yeah, that's disturbing.
One of those things I was talking about, those man-made horrors beyond our comprehension.
But I doubt we're that close to it.
Dude, they even,
no, I hope we're
like,
not that close that we're building fucking mimics of our dead family members.
I mean,
yeah, they were like, it would be exactly like them, and like it terrified me. Like, even
that's disturbing.
It is still scary.
Now AI is already getting to a point where it's starting to get a little freaky, but
right.
The thing is, right, is in the end, machines are still machines. And I think theoretically, it's easy to kind of stop machines to a degree, like EMP their asses. You know, I think humanity as a whole would rather destroy every bit of machine thing on Earth before machines really, unless it's like a simultaneous hive mind thing.
I mean, hang on. You also got to remember we have Elon Musk that's pretty much in the lead of the technology race.
I mean, kind of. I mean, he is like working on brain chips and shit, and like that's once again not necessarily bad. And
right, but his is mostly for like, let's say, mental like illnesses or something, for like, it's to help study shit like that.
Right. And sure, that technology, the thing is like our technology does grow exponentially and there's major breakthroughs all the time. But I really, really have trouble saying that by 2040 or 2050, we're going to be able to download somebody's consciousness completely and have it elsewhere and just simulate it. Now, I think it's more likely that an AI might be able to take facts about people's lives and learn how to simulate somebody. But the fact to download everything, that seems like it's the kind of thing that people were saying in like the early 1900s when they were like, by 2005, we'll have fucking floating cars and fly everywhere. Like, it's like technology is going to be insane by then, but it's not going to be quite as insane. Do I think that kind of stuff is likely in the next 100 years? Yeah, probably. But in the next 20, I'm doubtful.
Dude, I'm watching a clip of Doc Ock smoking a cigar with his arms.
Do you think Doc Ock is gay?
That's the future I want. I do not. I do not.
Doc, am I right?
Can I make an argument as to why he should be gay?
I'll hear your case.
Those gangbangs got to be insane, though. Right?
Okay, no, hold up. Now that you're saying it, that's like
yeah.
They should put you in a prison for retards.
Look, and even look at it this way, right? It doesn't have to be super gay. Dude could hold a pocket pussy with one of his robotic arms. You're mostly detached from any sort of flesh bit there.
Dude, I don't know about that. I don't want the fucking spinacy that's connected to his spine.
Okay, so That makes it better.
It's wet, and you're like, damn, is this spinal fluid?
Damn, bitch, you got
Yeah,
this
starts
place covered in
squirting out, and
spinal
he looks at you and he goes, "Don't worry, it'll stabilize."
It'll stabilize.
It'll
Just a spike.
stabilize.
Just
Doc Octopussy is a squirter.
Dr. Octopussy.
Dr. Octopussy.
This just
Peter
in.
Penis. Penis
Dr.
Parker.
Octopussy is a squirter. I'll be right back.
Penis Parker.
Penis Parker.
Penis
You know,
Parker.
we could say so much shit right now just to make him edit.
Have to edit like a motherfucker. You're
Yeah.
right, we could. We should. That'd be funny.
Yeah, who wants to start, dude? I'm not saying any expletives. I don't want my fucking mouth washed out with soap.
I am gonna say expletives.
What do you guys want to talk about next?
Boobs.
No. You know what we should talk about now that I'm cracking one open? Well,
Beer?
fuck, Zachary's not here, actually. Yeah, I want to talk about beer, but I feel like fucking Zachary would be good on that conversation.
Did you guys see that they released a new Overwatch hero? Or she got
What?
announced at least.
Wait, I knew what?
New Overwatch hero.
Oh, they did?
No, actually.
She's a healer.
my
She's
God.
basically like overpowered already, and she's not even out. She has like Genji's primary and alt fire, but instead of stars, it's kunais. She can mercy shift over to people, but can do it through walls.
Bro, what?
Her
That's...
ult.
I can see that being annoying.
Yeah, her ult, she is able to, like, her whole gimmick is like she's like some sort of fox spirit or some bullshit. I don't know.
Oh,
so
like a
she-
nine-tailed fox or something?
No, not that cool.
Yay.
It's more of like a spirit fox. She just kind of like throws out. You come along this path, and it reduces cooldowns, increases speed, increases reload speed. Basically, just makes everyone who's in it overpowered as shit.
Wow, I can't believe they made
Yeah,
they made the bitch throw talismans at people.
that too. That's how she heals people.
That's
But-
awesome. I can't wait to not play her.
Seems already busted.
I'm so happy they put a design that literally weeb bait design into the fucking game and then made her a healer.
What are we talking about?
Dude, I remember when fucking Moira
New
came
Overwatch
out. I
hero.
was so fucking good with her.
Hero.
Will brought it up while you were gone. There's a new Overwatch
No, I never
hero.
liked Moira.
That's literally just fucking weeb bait, and that's it.
Dude, she was so good, man. If you can learn like the geometry of throwing her fucking orbs around, you can do some dumb shit.
Well, yeah, there's a reason why she was
healing angle damage.
she was one of the most picked heroes in comp for a while, in esports play.
Dude, she was
Yo.
so good. Like I fucking loved playing her. I bought her gold fucking weapons and everything, man. She was so good.
I'm actually
And
excited
her
for
abilities
Overwatch
were
too.
perfect.
I know a lot
I'm
of
probably
people
gonna end
aren't.
up getting it if all the boys do. Is it gonna be crossplay?
Yes.
I think so.
I already bought. I
Fucking better be.
I know a lot of
Like-
people aren't excited because it's going to be the same game and you have to pay $60 for it, and it's like,
It's gonna be free, I thought.
no,
It's free to play on September 9th.
is it?
Not September
Yeah.
9th. Next month.
It might be free to play launch month, but I don't think it's free to play game. I could be wrong. Regardless,
Launch month would be when everyone gets it.
yeah, but I think I think it's going to be like a trial thing, isn't it?
I think I read somewhere. I'm gonna look this up actually.
Yeah, look it up for me. No, I'm excited, and I think the new character is interesting. I don't care if it's weeb bait. I'm not really a weeb anymore, but
She looks like she belongs in
Yeah, no,
Paladins.
they're
the
gonna
fucking
be-
Overwatch knockoff.
It's gonna be free to play.
Cool.
Yeah, she really does look like she belongs in Paladins.
That's what one of my Des Moines friends said. I'm like, yeah, she really does.
yep, it's free to play, cross-platform, and cross-progression.
Which is interesting. Hopefully, I can get
They're
my
going to use a
fucking-
battle pass system.
Not surprised.
I'm excited for it. It's just a couple weeks away.
I forgot October.
It's Overwatch.
I haven't-
Just a week away.
I haven't had a good
Wow.
competitive shooter. And look, I know people are like, oh, Overwatch, but honestly, I have so many good memories with Overwatch. Just playing it. It's still to this day, even though it frustrates the fuck out of me, maybe my favorite competitive shooter. Well, my favorite competitive shooter that doesn't have like a campaign. My favorite competitive shooter of all time is Halo Reach, because I was also good at the PvP in that, but I digress.
Oh,
Like,
you
they
were?
will
I'm
reach
sure
around.
you were
Ew.
there, buddy.
So I have a returning I have a returning segment this week. I'm thinking of just, referring to it as Cult Corner, but let's talk about a cult. What do you guys know about, or have you heard of, the Family International?
No, I
No.
Or they were they were also once known as the children of God or the family of love. None of that's making sense.
Nope.
Negative.
Even to you, Tristan? Nothing?
I'm sorry, what did you say? I was taking a long sip of my beer.
Why did you say that like
Long sip.
Beer.
why'd you say that like a
Long sip of my beer.
like a brag? Like you basically just like
it's a good beer.
You think you can?
You just
fucking flex on
basically
me when
went
you're
like,
drinking?
I just dropped my monster condom for my Magnum dong.
Yeah. Sorry, I was so parched. I was refreshing myself with this Samuel Adams Jacko Pumpkin Ale. Quite refreshing. 6-pack for only $10.99. I don't know how much it was, and I'm not getting paid to say that.
Dude,
Bush Light.
if ever we can if ever we get enough of a following to like launch some more niche podcasts, you and I should do a beer podcast. That'd be based.
Dude, okay, so when you were gone, I literally said, oh, we should talk about beer. But then I was like, well, Zachary's not here, and he's like another big beer guy. You know what I mean? I feel like that it would be an incomplete conversation without him.
Yeah, we can talk about it another time. But anyways, have you heard of the cult The Family International? They used to be known as the Children of God.
Children of the Corn, I've seen that one. I
So
have seen that one.
they are a multinational pedophilic cult.
Christ.
They are a
What a
Christian cult that teaches, one of the things that they teach is like this idea that you should, that it's this idea that everything good is God and sex is good, so therefore sex is holy. So you should try to have sex as much as you can get away with from as young as possible. And it wants people to molest their kids, have sex with their kids, talk their kids into having sexual relationships, like, and not like as teenagers, as like 6-year-olds.
That's disturbed.
It's quite disturbed. Indeed.
So they have this. It's called, what is it called? It's called. They started briefly. They no longer officially do it, but in the 70s they had a method of like converting and gaining money called flirty fishing. That they used sex to quote show God's love and mercy and to win converts and over. And it was called that because they encouraged female members to quote show God's love through sexual relationships with potential converts or people who would just donate money. So they would quote unquote go fishing for men. And it resulted in, what's the number here?
Jamie, pull the number up.
Jamie, pull it up.
According to the organization, flirty fishing converted over 100,000 people, meaning that these people basically fucked 100,000 people into joining their religion. And a researcher actually took their data and suggested that in just to the first, like just from 74 to 87, over 200,000 people had been fucked by people of this church trying to like proselytizing essentially. So it was started by this person named David Burke, who was, let's look into him real quick. He's been multiple times accused of sexually abusing his own daughters and granddaughters. A bunch of former members confirmed these reports. They released a bunch of like information and booklets teaching people how to masturbate, and like they would basically like teach their children how to masturbate from an early age and have them like beat off in front of them.
What the fuck?
That's fucked up.
He married this woman who is currently the leader of the church. Her name's Karen Zerby. She's the current leader of the church. This group still exists because they've sort of tightened up their stuff a little bit. Her son, who apparently, I haven't read enough into it, had a prophecy about him, like about how he was going to inherit the church and be the leader of it. Adopted that David Burke as his dad. It was his stepdad, but adopted him as his dad. And anyways, he in his 20s escapes the church. And when he like moves around, and when in Budapest, he meets a woman that he would eventually marry. And then like he slowly figures out, I've been like, the first thing I think that he realizes is what we are taught does not match what's in the Bible. So there's like a big red flag there. And then he learns of like, he becomes consciously aware that he was sexually abused from a young age.
Jesus.
and he starts trying to figure out a revenge plot. So he moves to this town and he learns that he wants to kill his mom, is what he wants to do. He wants to kill his mom and take his youngest sister away from the church. But he learns that one of his nannies who abused him was working at this place that his grandparents owned. So he moved around there, and then he went, oh, because they still think I'm still officially in good standing with the church, I'm going to invite her over. His plan was to kidnap this person, this chick, and torture her to figure out where his mom was, so he could go then and kill his mom.
Based vigilante justice.
He describes himself as a vigilante. He says in his he made a video, like a manifesto video. He left his wife to go do this. This happened in 2005. He went, I am going to murder this woman. And he basically was like, here's my reasons for it. The police will quickly get involved. There will likely be a conflict. And he said, basically, he was like, I don't wish to harm any police people. My problem is not with them. He said, I am a vigilante. And he goes and he invites this woman over for dinner. And she's just like, yeah, cool. She was like a leader up. And he just loses his shit. He doesn't go completely through with his plan. He stabs her a bunch of times and just slits her throat. He doesn't torture her, get the information out of her. He then just freaks out, drives to California, calls up his then ex-wife, tells her, hey, in my apartment, there is a body of this woman. He says, I did the correct thing, but he said she didn't understand that she had done anything wrong and that it didn't make him feel better. And then I think he goes to the trunk of his car and he shoots himself, kills himself.
Damn.
Before his mom is still alive. Now there is, they have a bunch of people, like famous people who were formerly or are still associated. So the one that's still associated with them is Jeremy Spencer, who was the blues side guitarist for the early incarnation of Fleetwood Mac. He left Fleetwood Mac to join TFI, the church. This is before like the Fleetwood Mac era that you think of. This is like when they were still blues rock.
Okay.
He leaves then. But some like famous people to come out of it: River, Joaquin, Rain, Summer, and Liberty Phoenix. Like Joaquin Phoenix, he was raised and then left in that church.
Damn.
Like him and all of his family grew up as members of the church and then they left. And River Phoenix, who was going to be like a big star, if you haven't looked into him, he's an interesting character. He's Joaquin Phoenix's older brother. He OD'd in 93. He like told magazines that they were ruining people's lives and basically was telling people, yeah, they're just molesting children. And this is a place where in the United States, they're not that big, but they have a huge following in Korea and Japan currently. Now, Jeremy Spencer, that guitarist who's with them, left to go left Fleetwood Mac when he joined the church. He then started a band and started doing solo projects for the church. And you can find their music like on YouTube. The church promotes itself through like cartoons and music videos and things like that. So apparently I heard that their music's actually, weirdly enough, really catchy, but it's fucked up, right? And it's like there's songs like about how you shouldn't go to a supermarket to buy stuff. And they have all sorts of books and shit talking about this that you can openly find. Like you can find their pamphlets that are basically like, you should be a pedophile. But they still to this day make a lot of like material and distribute it that's like songs and music videos. And I think like they have a couple cartoons and they make all of them in like 8 different languages. Like one of them I've heard described, one of their videos I've heard described as being essentially watching a religious anime that makes no fucking sense. Like apparently it's animated in that style. It's really fucked that it still exists.
A little.
There's no a little to it, man. This is I wonder if I can get any estimates on the membership. So at the start of the 21st century, they had about 10,000 members in about 90 countries, making it the most successful commune to emerge from the 1960s counterculture era. However, their website says over 1,400 members in nearly 80 countries. So they seem like they're dying out, thank God. But they were a Christian cult that just spread pedophilia, which wasn't our last one as well. Isn't that also what was going on? What's with these pedophile cults?
I
What is
remember
with these
talking about the
pedophile cults
FDLS in the first episode.
and dissing on my girl.
No, dude, pedophiles need to be put up against the wall.
I agree.
Now,
Firing
please,
squad.
Yeah.
don't get me
Feet on the
wrong
curb.
and everything. I'm not entirely.
Kane, if you
Uh,
fucking support
up-
them, I'll put
No,
you
no,
on the
no, no,
I'm
no.
not-
Let him speak. Let him speak.
No.
I know.
I'm not for executing people. However, if they like child, then please face wall.
Yeah.
What do you guys feel about capital punishment?
What kind of?
I feel like,
capital
I
are we
don't know,
talking about?
dude.
Are we
Like, I
talking
know
about,
it
like,
sounds hypocritical, but at the same time, like, if somebody has shown that they are, like, a repeat offender and they've killed numerous people and they're not remorseful and shit, like, I don't know. Like, I believe that human beings can be truly evil. Like, a lot of
Yeah.
evil committed by humans is ignorance, but I do believe that humans can be knowingly and truly evil.
I agree 100%.
I think there's problems with capital punishment. Like executing people
With our system, yes.
executing people shouldn't take years, nor should it be that expensive. Honestly,
And it
as far
also-
as
it
I'm
should
concerned,
it should be foolproof. Like, I know there's cases where like people have been proven innocent after their executions,
Right.
like by DNA
It should be-
evidence, and shit.
it should be foolproof, and
It should
that's
only be used in
less and
cases
less.
where it's 100% like this
Right.
person did this. There's no other way around. You know what I
Right.
mean?
And
Like,
then in that case, they should make an example of those people. They should, and honestly, they shouldn't fucking lethal injection them, which costs tons of money and takes years or whatever. Give them
I like the
maybe
guillotine, bro.
maybe 2 years at most. Firing squad those motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Firing
cheap.
squad and guillotine just seems so simple and effective to me.
It's cheap.
Like,
Just do it.
it's cheap,
Is
it's
it-
simple, and it also, like you said, it shows an example. You know what I mean? Like, this will
Now,
happen to you if
I-
you commit evil.
I don't think we should bring about public executions again.
We should.
No, we shouldn't because
like-
of.
I feel like for like high profile criminals, like somebody, raped and murdered like a series of children, like
Yeah,
like,
maybe
they
for
should be
high
strung up and
profile
left to
ones.
hang alive for days.
But you increase the chances of, like, historically, what public executions also
lynchings.
did were lynchings, and you increase the chances of, like, people getting killed who were innocent. Because,
yeah,
fun fact about humans, like, when public executions went, people didn't go to these things to see justice carrying out. They went to those things because
entertainment.
it was entertainment. It's the same reason people loved gladiatory fights, whatever the fuck they're called.
Yeah, they didn't go
Gladiator
to see
fights.
somebody win. They went to see a dude get ripped apart by a lion.
Yeah, they want the violence. They want the brutality of it.
I feel like we should do bureaucratic public executions where it's like a process where they're like, okay, this dude was evil enough and he's on death row. He should be made an example. Like, yeah, show what happens to child rapists, or like, I'm trying to think of like other crimes that are true, like mass murders. Like, I don't feel like single murders should be, unless it's something horrific. Like, it's like this dude fucking, beat his girlfriend and then like tortured her and strangled her to death.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, yeah, okay, that's a case where it's like, okay, not only did you kill somebody, but you like were brutal about it. You know what I mean? Like, showed that you're like, you have hate in your heart. But even then, like, I do believe in rehabilitation. You know what I mean? And
No.
I feel like a lot of people have the ability to change, and a lot of people do the things that they do because of the way that they were raised or the current environments that they live in. Socioeconomic factors.
I have a couple beliefs that might be a little controversial. For one, me coming from technically, I have I do hold Christian beliefs, but they're heavily not necessarily biblical or like anything a church would agree with. But I do believe like no one's irredeemable, at least in a spiritual way. But I also believe no one's irredeemable in a public way. I, however, think that the caveat to that is I think sometimes the time that people need to do and what they need to go through to redeem themselves is far more time than they have left on earth, right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes, maybe you need 500 years of prison to redeem yourself. Like I do think there's a quantifiable number in the end for anybody to redeem themselves for whatever shit they did.
Yeah, okay. Do you think we should do like Black Mirror shit where people can like virtually serve out multiple life sentences where it feels like they're, doing 500 years in a day?
Maybe.
Or would that be cruel and unusual?
Well, at this point,
I feel like that might drive people mad.
It would drive people mad for sure.
Oh yeah, there's no if and or.
Unless it's a controlled situation and you can make it completely therapeutic, right? Like if you can control.
Yeah, where you're like in a Garden of Eden, or you know what I mean? Like you're
Right.
just like in a serene place where you don't need like food or water and you don't get hurt, but you also can't leave. But there's like stimuli. There's shit like imagine if you were in a white sponge room, you know what I mean? Like a padded room. You go fucking crazy.
500 years, mentally, where even though it might be a day in real life.
There's literally a Black Mirror episode like that, bro.
I mean, the problem with it
They
is like the kind of changes that would do to a person.
Yeah, it's not something we weren't meant to experience 500 years like that. You know what I mean? Like
those are the kind of
you
things
would be a different person on the other side completely.
You would be a different person many times over. Like you would have.
Yeah, you've experienced lifetimes.
You would have completely shedded your complete personality and identity. That by the time you came out of that, anybody who had any familiarity with you would be like you would be nearly unrecognizable.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm holding.
My horses are held, bro.
Cavalry's ripping, raring to go, dude. I don't know if they can hold it much longer. These horses can no longer be held, dude. I'm letting them loose.
I've been edging my horses for hours, dude. I can't hold it anymore.
Yeah, dude.
They're coming.
All right, I'm back. Sorry.
Thank God, dude. My horses were about to run.
Yeah, they were. I could hear them from here.
Glad you held them. We could end it here, but we could also do one more
in my culture.
Inserts horse running noise.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else particularly interesting that could be brought up on my end.
I guess I got a little quick thing to talk about. So we started this podcast almost a month ago now, and I mean, obviously our viewership, our listenership isn't huge. Although our first video did decent for what it was.
I'm very impressed with the amount of views on that video.
I am too.
I have been having a lot of fun with this, and I definitely I have loved podcasts for years, and it's definitely been something I've very, very much enjoyed doing and editing and making. So I guess my question is, do you guys listen to podcasts? And if so, like what interests you, what you listen to? Because I mean, we're still figuring it out.
Me or the viewer?
I'm talking to everyone.
Okay. Sorry, I thought you were like
no.
proposing like a.
I'm talking to you guys. Hey, no one's really commented because most people don't last this long statistically in our podcasts, but it is what it is.
Sorry about that. I'm back. My mom.
No, I really feel like we actually talked outside of podcasting the other day about this because we've been talking a lot on Discord recently. I feel like we have a lot to learn from other successful podcasts and not copying them, but seeing like what they've done right and being like trying to shine in those areas as well. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, and it's
there's a couple that come to mind, but no.
It's different too because some are more formulaic, some are very like some of my favorite podcasts that I listen to are ones that are as disorganized as we can be. We're even actually a little more like organized than some like successful podcasts.
Yeah, completely random.
So do you guys listen to any though? Any of you?
Yeah, actually for a while I listened to Sam Hyde.
It depends, not very often.
So I listen to a lot of podcasts. It's kind of the thing I do at work. I've hit a point where I listen to a bunch of comedians podcasts because like a lot of stand-up comedians have podcasts, and I've learned to have a different appreciation for comedy as like an art form, but also for podcasts as an art form. So typically, like historically, I listen to a lot of D&D podcasts. I'm a huge D&D nerd. Like, I mean, you guys know that. I listened to Not Another D&D podcast is great. Dungeons and Daddies is also fantastic. And then I used to listen to The Adventure Zone, but I thought this last season was kind of boring. And then recently I started listening to, I got into Burke Kreischer and Tom Segura. They're two comedians. And so they have a podcast called Two Bears, One Cave together. That's really good that I watch weekly. And then Tom has one he does with his wife. His wife's also a comedian called Your Mom's House. And these are fairly big podcasts, by the way. Your Mom's House may have been attributed to the initial uplift for Andrew Tate getting growth, because YMH does a lot of like finding ridiculous videos and ridiculous people and kind of laughing about it. And like 2 years ago, he was playing Andrew Tate videos on the podcast. And this is like a podcast that gets, I think, like hundreds of thousands of listens every week. You know, it's a big podcast. And then other podcasts I listen to is Burke Kreischer, the other member of those two, has his own podcast called Burkecast, which is good. I found one through them called the Honeydew Podcast that I would recommend to you guys. It's like comedic and it is comedians, but it is a lot of comedians talking about like heavy stuff or like depressing shit. Their tagline is highlighting the lowlights. They'll be like one of his things is, what was the worst time in your life? Let's podcast about that to people who are like professional comedians. I have, and it's really good and fascinating.
Time of your life.
Yeah, and it's really fucking interesting. It's been cool to listen to. I also, in terms of comedy podcasts, I listen to a lot of podcasts, like I say. Started listening recently, kind of recently. I was familiar with it already, but started actually listening to Cumtown, which no longer is on.
Excuse me?
Cumtown is fucking hilarious.
Is that CUM space TOWN?
Yeah, I can't really find the normal episodes, but the premium Patreon content is slowly being posted to Spotify, even the years old stuff. And it's so fucking funny. And it's definitely our vein of like you guys would lose your shit at it. I was listening to like a 2021 compilation, and it's literally just like the first little bit was they were talking about like COVID, and it was one of them impersonating Andrew Cuomo, the I think former or current governor of New York. And during COVID he gave those daily speeches, but they were like doing the speeches, and it always ended up being about how like he was trying to cure the coronavirus by being gay and sucking dick, and just riffing on it for, I shit you not, like half an hour. He's just like doing an impression of this guy being like, yeah, I need to go to the hospital to get my shot in my ball sack or something like that. It's fucking great. I highly recommend it. And then the last two podcasts I listen to regularly is Chuckle Sandwich, which is some streamers, YouTubers, their kind of comedy podcast. And then I listen to the official podcast, which is like Moist Critical and his friends.
Yeah, I've watched a couple episodes of that.
So I'm just curious what you guys listen to if you do. I know, Will, you like the Chris Chan stuff, don't you?
I've kind of gotten out of it. I need to catch up on it. But whenever I was back at the old factory, I liked listening to the Super Mega Cast.
I've listened to it a little bit.
Yeah, and I don't really think they do anything like special, like because it's just Matt and Ryan just like talking about shit, and every now and then they'll have someone come up. But
the biggest thing I've learned from listening to podcasts, though, that I think we struggle with, sort of as individuals, is how to always have people have input in podcasts, even on things they're not interested in. And I think some of us in a few episodes are just silent the whole time because either we're not interested or we don't know how to add on. And it's like, yeah, I mean, there's ask questions, make jokes, those kind of things. I'd be interested to hear if anybody listens this long into the podcast to see what feedback they have. I mean, we don't really get feedback, but I'm excited for maybe an eventuality.
Seriously interested in it. Like, yeah. I don't know about you, but like I would be genuinely thrilled to see some comments being like, hey, love this episode, but you know, you guys should try this, or
yeah,
you know, anything, constructive criticism, fucking hate comments.
Hate comments would be so funny, dude. Because
that shit would have been really funny.
I've never like felt offended by. I mean, I guess I've never like put out content that I put my heart and soul into and then had somebody like shove it down my throat. So I don't know how that feels.
Yeah.
But I've definitely like had hate comments like playing video games and shit, and I fucking love it. Like if I'm bad at video games and somebody's like, you fucking suck, and then talk shit to me, I'm like, I just won.
Yeah,
I don't think you understand. I just won.
Yeah, that was the true victory, bitch. I don't care how many points I have. I don't care how many likes I have. I care about how many motherfuckers want to see my downfall.
Well, I don't think I have anything else to talk about for the moment. If you guys want to wrap up.
I think I'm ready to wrap up.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm hoping to, in the next week before we record this next time, to get everything out on other services or those that I can. I think we've pretty well kind of discussed some things to get that done. So if you listen to us, please rate us, leave a comment, do whatever. We greatly appreciate it. If it's on YouTube, subscribe, comment. These are all great things that help us out a lot. The biggest thing you can do if you enjoyed our content to help us out isn't necessarily to do those things. It's to tell other people about it and to get them to watch it.
Seriously, and it's much appreciated. Like we're doing our part, I guess. And if you think that this is something that's enjoyable enough to spend your time sitting down and listening to, or even at work or something listening to as background noise, and you think that others would enjoy it, please show it to them, because they may do the same as you, and know somebody else that would also enjoy it.
And we hope to get better, like each episode. So eventually we're going to have a solid podcast.
I genuinely feel like we are heading in the right direction.
But word of mouth is the best way for us to grow. We kind of don't live anywhere. We don't have the connections with people. We're a bunch of...
We don't live anywhere.
we're a bunch of nobodies.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of hicks.
Yeah, word of mouth is the best way. And if you want to keep up with everybody, we'll have links in the description for YouTube, but a quick hunt for people if you're wanting to look at it. The easiest place to find some of us is at our Twitches, those of us who stream, which I think is just me and Dalton this week. You can find me on Twitch at Epic Prince 15, that's capital E and capital P. You can find Dalton at Old Red Eye 61 on Twitch. Kane, what's your Twitch?
JamJ.
JamJ, yeah. You can find JamJ on Twitch. You can also follow some people's Instagrams, which is probably easier to just click the link in the description. But Will Saltshaker, you can follow me at A Dungeon Master's Journey. You can follow Tristan at derunheilige.
SMH can't pronounce German correctly.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Believe it or not, I'm not German. You can find Kane at Aqua. It's misspelled.
One of them is.
Yeah, the second one is spelled.
Spelled backwards.
It's not spelled completely backwards. You just swap two letters.
It's spelled entirely in reverse, is what I.
Kane's just stupid. You don't feel pressured into following him.
Straight up. I was actually going for that, and it kind of worked.
Yeah, well, I'm putting you in an institution. I was just talking with my girlfriend. We need to bring back just institutionalizing
what kind of fucking
people against their
institution are you
will.
gonna put me in, huh?
Oh, you know where
A prison for retards.
You know what? That's fair, I guess.
He's already fucking there.
Yeah.
All right. Now we are currently in the process of getting Kane arrested and taken to retard prison. So with that, we gotta go. Thank you for listening and have a good one.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Guys.
Bye.
Thank you.